At the time of the taping of this episode, there have been 27 school shootings so far this year. That's unacceptable. That's ridiculous. Like I said, we're not going to solve this problem today. We're not going to stop this today. But there are ways that we can talk about how to slow this down. And the sad fact is, there are times of the year that we're more at risk for this happening than at other times. What are they?
We see them happening most often at what we call kind of transitional periods in the year. So September, when students are going back to school, January coming back from winter break, and then May, right as students are getting ready to leave.
There's also a contagion effect here, right? If something happens like Uvalde, then that gets lots of coverage. That's very likely to trigger another event.
And what's tricky with this is that you're trying to get to a point where we can have an open conversation, but in a way that doesn't glorify the actions of the shooters, because we know that there are shooters who are seeking notoriety, whether in life or in death, and they are inspired by the actions of other shooters that have gone before them. And in our research, we actually see that they actively are studying these other shooters. Mm-hmm. And in some cases, it's more than just a copycat effect. It's actually that they truly identify with them, and they get validation for this type of belief that the solution to the problem is to pick up a gun and perpetrate a shooting. And so that's where some of this comes from. There is this contagion aspect of both fame-seeking, but also feeling part of something bigger, because they feel like the world has ignored them, and now they're trying to get everybody to pay attention.
I think they try to find validation. You know, the statistics you pressed and showed forward, we call that a clue in police work, right? You think that we would grab the information that you have and we begin to work it in an area and a time and place, but you need your partners. You need such partnerships behind this, because one moment we say this kid needs mental health, and then the next moment that the shooting happens, he's a monster. You see my point? And it's like, where do we find the early intervention conversation?
Why do you see empathy as first and foremost as a necessary reaction to these troubled kids?
I sit here and I hear your story, and I see your daughter's face on TV, and I see everything you've gone through, and I want to say I'm sorry. We failed you. And I'm sorry that law enforcement officers did not do what they needed to do that day. And it's troubling for me, Dr. Phil, to see the video, to read the report, where you see resources there, you see training there, but you don't see leadership. And I can honestly tell you, living that moment in time and place in my life, you have to have leadership in that place. But I truly want you to know, from the bottom of my heart, the police officers truly, truly care for this. There's thousands of police officers that will do the right thing. But I hope this is the moment in time and place where a lesson is learned. But I thank you for being courage and saying your story now, that we may learn from this. So thank you. And I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.